Hello, this is Zule from Pomona, California, Zone 10A. Today is May 24th, 2018, and we're going to plant tomatillos and some tomatoes. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to get this first bed planted. First, I'm going to try to loosen up the soil. And I'm not going to be adding any amendments to this other than rock dust. And the reason for that is because when I planted the garlic, I did add chicken manure and I added blood meal, and I think I added bone meal, can't remember, but I added a lot of stuff, so that should be pretty good still. So I just want to loosen up the soil so that I can plant my other crop. Okay, so all I'm going to do right now is just add my rock dust. Now, some people say that rock dust doesn't help your crop. For me, I see a difference, but every garden is different, so rock dust may not work for you. I would say do a little bit of research and try it out, and if you don't want to use it, I don't think you have to. There's a lot of gardeners that have amazing crops and they don't use the rock dust, so it's absolutely up to everybody's discretion whether they want to add this to their soil before planting or not. For me, in my garden and my personal experience, I see that it does make a difference. Some crops where I don't put rock dust, they are very poor. I'm not sure why, if it's just a coincidence or if it's the rock dust, but I think it's the rock dust, so I keep adding it to my soil. Okay, and so after I add the rock dust, all I'm going to do is kind of wiggle it into the dirt so that it's not laying just on top. But I do give it a very decent amount. Okay, so now I'm gonna go get what I want to plant here. Okay, so here in this planter, now what I'm going to be adding is going to be 4 of my tomatillo plants. These plants grow absolutely humongous, and the seeds were sown in March 27th. So they're doing pretty good, actually pretty healthy looking, and those are going to be the ones I'm going to be adding to this bed. And I'm hoping they'll do good, and I'm only adding 4. I know it looks like there's a lot of extra space, but they get super big, so I want to give them as much room as possible so they can thrive. But let's go ahead and get started. Let's plant these. So first, I'm going to be digging the hole, and this bed is so soft, you really don't need to do much to it. And once I'm done planting my tomatillo plants, I'm going to be adding some straw to mulch, because I'm learning from my mistakes, and hopefully they will give me a very good crop. So this soil is super light. Okay, and then when I'm planting, I like to use fertilizer, not a lot, just a little bit, to help them out. And this time I'm using this fertilizer, but I usually use whatever I have on hand, but for today we're going to be using this one, and it works pretty well. I've used it before and I actually do like it. So we're not going to add a lot, just a little bit, and then we're going to mix in the soil. And we're going to get rid of any big pieces of wood we find. Okay, so now we're going to take our tomatillo plant, and the bottom leaves look a little bit sad, and I'm just guessing it's because it's been in this 1-gallon pot for a bit. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be happy now that we're going to plant it, and I'm going to try to plant it a little bit above the soil that it has right now. And I'm hoping they're like the regular tomatoes. I don't know if you can see that, but they have a little bit of hairs, and those hairs will hopefully turn into roots. So let's get this one out of the pot. And I just like to press the bottom a bit. And look at those roots, absolutely ready to be planted. And the roots are white, they're looking very, very healthy, and it has roots all over. So let's see, might need a little bit more digging just so it can be planted a little bit under than what it was originally. And then all we do is just add the dirt. Nice and easy. I'll put its little plant tag the way I had it in the pot. As you know, I lose plant tags a lot, so hopefully I get to keep that one and know what it is. If not, I'll have this video as the reference. And then right here, I just like to add a little bit of the fertilizer. And again, we're not adding a lot. And then we'll go ahead and do the other one. And again, we're just gonna add a little bit of fertilizer. And I was told that you don't add the fertilizer right at the root, so that's why I'm avoiding this area and putting it around where I feel it's safe enough area to put the fertilizer on. This is going to be the first year I actually get to have a tomatillo plant this big. And hopefully it's the first year that I get a harvest, because I have never been able to grow the plants even this big. So this in itself is a big accomplishment. But if I can get tomatillos, that would be definitely a big plus. And again, we just add the little tag so that I know what it is. All right, let me get this planted and then mulched, and then I'll bring you back. Okay, and with the tomatillos, I'll be planting these flowers. They were on sale at Walmart, and they were in the clearance areas. So that's why they look a little rough, but I'm going to plant them. If they make it, fine. If they don't, too bad, so sad. I'll just find something else. And if you're wondering why this is all crushed, that's because Bruce got to it. And I actually found this one laying around in my yard. Poor thing. I'm gonna plant it and hopefully it can recover. So let's go ahead and plant this one first. Alright guys, so the last step after mulching is going to be to water the plants, because we don't want them going to transplant shock. So let's go ahead and water them in. And I'm trying to do it from the bottom, just not to disturb the plant as much. And I'm using my rainwater, which I collected. So proud of myself for collecting that water, because it has helped me out a lot. And this year I'm actually thinking of doing or putting the rain gutters in my house so that I can collect even more rainwater. We don't get it often, so when we do, I would love to collect as much as possible. so we're going to get started on the second bed, and because I lost my lovely assistant, I'll be putting my camera on top of a ladder so that you guys can see me prepare this bed. And just like the other one, we just want to get the soil nice and loose so that we can plant our next crop. It doesn't seem to be hard and compacted, it just needs a little bit of loosening up. And here again, just like the other bed, I'm giving this one a very generous amount of rock dust to help it with the new crop that I'm going to be adding here. Just a little bit more and that should do it. So in this bed, we're going to be planting the beautiful Cherokee purple, and these are seeds that Never Enough Dirt Brian sent me, and they were planted on March 27, and we're putting them in this bed today, which is May 24th, 2018. And just like the other planter, now that we have our soil nice and loose, because it was pretty loose, it wasn't compacted or anything. Now that we have it pretty loose, we're going to be planting our first Cherokee purple plant. And we're just going to dig a hole and make sure that it is deep enough for that plant. And before we plant it in the hole, we're going to add a little bit of this eco scrap fertilizer. And like I said before, I really like this brand. It's pretty affordable and I find that it works in my garden for my plants. So we're going to first take the plant out of the pot. And I don't know if you can see this, but hopefully you can. I'm just squeezing the top. And look at those roots. They look absolutely wonderful. They're nice and white and they seem to be going all around the plant. So it gives me an indication that it is a very healthy plant. And then the last thing we're going to do is just add the dirt back around the plant. And I am so sorry for the camera angle. I hadn't noticed that the plant in front with the pot, in the pot still, it was obstructing the view. So I apologize about that. But as I mentioned before, I had lost my lovely assistant. And then we just add the plant tag and then we move on to the other plants. Okay, so all the little plants have been planted, the mulching has been done. I like the way this bed is looking, and I'm just making sure that every plant gets a nice drink of water. They need the water to survive this transplant. And I'm also watering the poor little flower because it also has to survive the heat along with the new planted tomato plants. So anytime you plant something, you have to make sure that they are watered fully. It's been a very long, hard day at work, but very rewarding. Well guys, that's it from Little Beans Garden. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and as always, take care.